You're right, you're right.
I'm getting something in here.
It's all right. Well, flashback to kindergarten when I was looking for my name tag as a kid.
And did they remind you of the second saying your birthday?
Yeah.
No, just making sure. Get whoever.
Carry me out here. No, should I walk off?
If you want, you can, or we're actually going to be streaming it back in the moments for one back there. Watch or,
Just get.
well, you can set it.
No, bird. All right.
You just keep saying.
Right.
Hey, how's everybody? So one person missing. Did she?
We're gonna get going without her.
Okay. Welcome to the September 25th, 2025 meeting of the Village of Pinehurst Historic Preservation Commission. The purpose of this commission is to decide applications for certificates of appropriateness for new construction or major work within the Pinehurst Historic District, and to do so by conducting hearings and making findings of fact when such applications come before us. By law, the commission is directed to take no action except to prevent construction or alterations that would be incongruous with the special character of the historic district. I am Joe Iverson, Chair of the Commission, and I ask each commissioner, starting from my far left, to state his or her name for the record. So,
Nice to meet you.
yep.
All right, Paul Roberts.
Molly Adelman.
David Herring.
Joe Rosario.
Justin Greenbush. Looks like Angelique Fabiani, member, is absent, but we have quorum, so we can proceed. Also present are staff. Sorry about that. Michael, Maria, and Jean Ann. Our first order of business is to review and approve minutes of our last meeting. All commissioners have been provided with copies of the draft minutes. Does any commissioner have any changes to suggest? May I have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. The minutes are approved. May I now have a motion to enter into public hearing? So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. We are now in a public hearing. This is a quasi judicial hearing. That means that anyone desiring to testify must be sworn in, and the commission is required to consider only facts presented in this hearing. The proceedings are video recorded. I asked commissioners if they have visited any of the sites on our docket today and whether they have had any ex parte communications with respect to any of the cases we are considering today.
I have visited the sites and have no ex parte communications.
I have visited the sites and have no ex parte communications.
I have visited the sites, no ex parte communication.
Visited the sites, no communication.
I visited the first site, no ex parte communication. I'll be recusing myself on the second due to a conflict of interest.
Visit both sites, no ex parte communication. In each case that the commission will hear this afternoon, staff will first present a summary of the application and the staff's evaluation of the extent to which the application complies with the commission standards for which an application or raises issues that require further information, the staff's comments on the application, and where appropriate, the staff's recommendation for the commission action. The application and the supporting documents, as well as the staff's detailed report, will then be entered into record. Commissioners will have an opportunity to question the staff about the report and testimony. Next, the applicant or the applicant's representatives will have an opportunity to provide any additional information supporting the application to address any questions or issues identified in the staff's testimony. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question the applicant witnesses. After the applicant's presentation, if any member of the public wishes to present any evidence either in support or in opposition to the application, please come forward at that time and identify yourself. I will swear you in and give you an opportunity to present any reasons why you believe that the application should be granted or denied. Please remember the commission is interested in the facts that will help decide whether the proposed work would be congruous with our special character of Pinehurst Historic District. As chair, I have the right to exclude testimony that is relevant to that subject, but I'm not required to do so. Commissioners will then have an opportunity to question you about your testimony. If the applicant or staff wishes to respond to your testimony, I will permit them to do so. I will swear in the members of staff. Will the staff members?
Shelby. Angelique's here.
Okay, well, Angelique is present. Do we know that? Have you visited the sites?
Yes, visited the sites and no ex parte communications.
Okay, good. I will now swear in the members of staff. Will all members who may give evidence in this proceeding please stand, raise your right hand, and state your name for the record?
Maria Klein?
Do you swear to affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to all cases on the docket today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All righty, so please present your first case.
All right, so the purpose of this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for an addition, change in siding material, and painting of the tennis facility building, and additional parking at 4 Carolina Vista. The property is identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-25800. The property owner and the applicant is Pinehurst LLC. So the applicant is proposing to add an addition onto the current tennis building. They would also like to change the vinyl siding of the whole building to wood siding and match the color to other buildings on the property. And they will expand the parking area. And this is major work requiring a review because it is new construction or additions that are not considered to be minor work. So the meeting was noticed in accordance with the North Carolina General Statutes and the PDO. And you can see the subject property in the hashed out area. The property is outlined in red for the notified adjacent properties. All right, so here we have a site plan that shows the existing conditions. So tennis courts, some walkways, the existing building, and trees. And then this site plan shows the addition to the tennis building, along with the removal of a tennis court and the additional parking that will be added. And here we have the elevations, along with the colors. They did give us, I'm guessing they're using Sherwin-Williams colors, but they gave us the approved color palettes that are close. I will say that Gettysburg Gray is not in our approved color palette. However, I did find, which I cannot read, the Taos taupe, I think, that is in our approved color palette that pretty closely matches Anonymous from Sherwin-Williams. The applicant has submitted an application and provided additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. The new parking area meets the standards and could be approved by staff. The commission needs to determine if the additions are congruous with the historic district and if they meet the historic district standards. And I will say that the application and the materials that you have are for a certificate of appropriateness. That is the information that the HPC needs to make a determination on this. They do have to submit additional documents for site plan review that would be reviewed by staff. Our TRC, which is going to include fire and engineering for stormwater and all of our standards in the Pinehurst Development Ordinance before this can be approved for construction. So, with that, I would like to submit into the record the staff report, attachments, and exhibits, this presentation, along with the application and the applicant's materials and exhibits.
Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into record. Do the commissioners have any questions for staff?
I do. First, thanks for the colors. Appreciate that. Second, are there any trees coming down?
Those, yes, those were in the, on the site plan.
You up?
There you go. So the
Okay.
pink one there.
Pink ones. Got it.
And the addition, right? Those are all on that side, that's.
Yes, additional trees with those. And all that was in the package we received.
That's all I got. Thanks.
All righty, thank you. We will now hear from the applicant. Is the applicant or their representatives present? Will you please come, please come forward, you're already forward. Please state your name, spell your last name for the record, and state your relationship with the property.
Richard Higginbotham, Higginbotham. I'm the Senior Vice President for Projects.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to the application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You have been sworn in. If there is anything that the presentation by the staff you disagree with, or you would like to revise or clarify, or anything that you would like to add in support of the application, this is your opportunity to do so.
We have two others.
We have two others.
Oh, sorry. Who else?
I'm Calvin Berkeley, B as in boy, URKLEY, and I'm Director of Projects and Planning for the resort.
I'm David Stogner with Stogner Architecture. I'm the architect of record for the project, STOGNER.
Well, I apologize. You both can raise your hand. I'll do the spiel again. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to the application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You have been sworn in. If there's anything in the presentation, again, by the staff that you disagree with or would like to revise or clarify, or anything that you would like to add in support of the application, this is your opportunity to do so.
I'd like to make a comment on the siding. There was a mention of wood siding. Instead of wood, we're proposing a fiber cement product, which is similar thickness and visual quality as wood. Should be a little bit more long lasting. So instead of wood, it would be fiber cement siding.
Okay, I will make a quick presentation relative to our presentation, and as much as anything specifically addressed to the people behind us.
Okay.
I'd like to begin today's presentation with a few remarks regarding the resort drawing, another packed room for an HPC meeting. My hope is that these comments will help alleviate concerns and reduce the need for extended discussion during the public review portion of the process. You can never go wrong, at least if you're my age, and looking around the room, our age, by opening with lyrics from a 1960 song by the Byrds. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. This lyric reminds us that in the village, every process has its season. Each step must be followed. It's a logical sequence as we move through the approval process. Because we're in a smaller room, I'm going to skip part of my presentation. My point to the upper part of the presentation I'm skipping is that the village is fortunate to have a hard-working planning staff and dedicated volunteers on committees like this one. We need to let them do their jobs. The very projects that people in this room have commented on are the result of their diligence and commitment to making Pinehurst the community that it is. The submitted site plan, though not subject to review here, is specifically designed to address two common concerns: parking for club members and stormwater management around the Women's Exchange via an engineered system beneath the new parking area, somewhat like our Barrett Road project. This system would increase the capacity for stormwater, but not replace existing stormwater management. While many citizens who have reviewed the site plan understand the concept of addition and determine the impact these changes would have on the site plan, most seem to have overlooked the concept of subtraction. For those that don't know, tennis courts are an impervious surface, and one sits not 10 feet off of the back of the Women's Exchange. The net increase in impervious surface is just 0.297 acres over a 70-acre site. That, regardless of speculation in the press, does not include number 2. Reducing parking to only 32 spaces, which has been proposed by some, which is required by the plan as submitted, would allow the project to proceed with virtually no changes to existing on-site stormwater management. This would represent huge savings to the company, but it is not a plan I think anyone in this room would embrace. We ask that you trust our experience and our intentions, and we remain deeply conscious of our community's concerns. To that end, Pinehurst Resort makes the following public commitment. After submission of the final site plan to the village and prior to the appropriate TRC meeting, the resort will host a public meeting. Interested parties will be invited to review the submitted plan, ask questions, and engage directly with our engineering team. Feedback can be shared then with staff prior to TRC. Secondly, the resort remains committed to meeting with the Women's Exchange in a collaborative forum. However, to suggest the resort surrounds the exchange or is solely responsible for the flooding is both misleading and counterproductive. When Mr. Atkins is ready to convene a meeting with the village, the resort, the county, the chapel, and possibly NCDOT, we will be there with our expertise and our financial commitment to help address the issues. Thank you. I'll now turn it over to our project team who will walk through the building design, which is really what we're here to discuss today.
All right, appreciate everyone having me here. So as was mentioned earlier, we are proposing an addition to the current building that is there, tearing off the vinyl siding, replacing all of the vinyl siding, and continuing the aesthetic that you see around the entrance of the site. So, as you know, this building is currently white. The proposed colors are going to be a slightly darker color. The intention of that is to blend a little bit more harmoniously with the other buildings that are right there off the main road as you come in. The material, as I mentioned before, is not wood, it's a fiber cement product, but it will have a look that is very similar to wood. It'll be more durable. It's the same material that is utilized on the USGA building. So that building has a two-tone color scheme. This building is proposed to have one as well. So the lower horizontal siding would be your darker color. As you move up into the gable, that would be more of a shake type of siding. And that's your middle color, your Dorian gray. And then your trim would be your lighter Olympus white. The roof line, the intent of this is to maintain the existing style of the building while having the new addition not distract from the existing aesthetic. So on the left-hand side for the west elevation, You see a miniature cupola on that roof to kind of mimic the larger one above. The windows will be the same material, be existing, same with the doors. On the rear of the building, there's going to be a covered porch. The columns will match, similar to what is there now. Square footage wise of the building, it's roughly 4,500 square feet currently. The new addition is proposed to have 2 larger fitness rooms, workout rooms. That addition will add about 5,000 square feet. So we're roughly doubling the square footage of the building. Any questions on the exterior aesthetics of the building? Yes, sir.
I have one, and only one. Interesting, on the south elevation, there are a pair of doors that look, I hate to use labels, colonial, raised panel type doors. South elevation, right in the middle of the forwardmost gable.
All right, so that's a mechanical closet there.
My only comment is, those doors look sort of out of place with the somewhat updated details in the rest of the building.
Mhm.
And although I can't see that as any reason to deny your authorization to approve, I sure would like it to do something with those doors.
We'd be agreeable to that.
Is there a suggestion as far as style that the board would?
Simpler, cleaner, not raised panel, could be flat panel or just flat. Leave that, of course, to you.
I don't see any issue with that. If an amendment needs to be made to address that in the submittal, we can.
We can do that, if the rest of us agree, we do that in our motions. We don't agree to worry about it.
Okay. Any other questions?
If there would need to be another expansion, is there thoughts of that? You know, because are you compensating for the square foot that you're giving up down on 211 and moving it to this location?
And yes, that would be correct.
Okay, so it's similar in requirements. Okay, and you don't anticipate significant growth that would require an expansion from that site?
We do not.
No other questions? Okay, here's the interesting part. If there is any member of the public who wishes to present any evidence either in support or in opposition to the application, please come forward at this time and identify yourself.
Okay.
Well, please state your name and spell your last name. We got more than, okay, both.
Marie Carberry, co-president of the Sand Hills Women's Exchange. Carberry, C-A-R-B-R-E-Y.
And my name's Kirk Adkins, and I'm the chairman of the Flood Mitigation Committee for the Sand Hills Women's Exchange. And my last name is A.D. as dog, K-I-N-S.
Can you please both raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Please, yeah, you've already told us your, what,
Okay.
yeah.
So, first, and this is a bit impromptu, and I'll speak on behalf of the Women's Exchange. Mr. Higginbotham, I cannot thank you enough, sir. And Mr. Passion, your comments are so very greatly appreciated. This public forum that you intend to hold will be there. And in fact, all of these people here are from the Women's Exchange supporting our comments today. And This is what we've been wanting for a very long time. And so it is really warming to the heart to hear that you're available and amenable to discuss your plans, listen to input, because we have done a very preliminary engineering study that we'd like to share with you that could help resolve the problem. And I think there could be combined resources, so we want to work very collaboratively with you. So thank you so very much. So we would like, if it's okay, we do have a prepared statement, and may we read that into the record?
Sure.
Okay. So first of all, thank you all that are serving on the HPC. We know what kind of time commitment that you're making, and your service to our community is really very greatly appreciated. So Marie and I are here speaking on behalf of the Sandhills Women's Exchange. Our input tonight is on behalf of an institution that's been part of Pinehurst story for more than a century, operating out of our beloved cabin that was built in 1823 and has been operating out of its current location since 1922. It's important to note that the Sandhills Women's Exchange is listed as part of Pinehurst National Historical Landmark designation. The Sandhills Women's Exchange Cabin is more than just a building. It is a cultural icon. It's an intangible piece of Pinehurst heritage. And let us not forget that this cabin was donated to the exchange by James Walker Tufts, the very founder of Pinehurst. That connection makes it not just our home, but a vital part of the village's history and identity. Unfortunately, this historic cabin faces a modern and urgent problem, that of repeated flooding. After almost every significant rain event, water enters the cabin, threatening its structural integrity, its collections, and its operations. We believe that this flooding is directly linked to the large volume of impervious surfaces created by Pinehurst Resort that now surround us. These impervious surfaces have affected the flow of water onto our property and have caused significant damage. These women, I'll have to take my hat off, that during the last Chantal storm, these women worked so hard to restore that cabin, restore the floors, and these are all volunteers. So it's a lot of damage that has occurred. There are more than 400 parking spaces, 2 large swimming pools that are surrounded by concrete, 10 clay tennis courts, and a substantial tennis and fitness center that contribute to that impervious surface. With the resort's current proposal to double the size of the tennis and fitness center and to add an additional 53 parking spaces, this only increases the impervious surface and therefore the flooding risk to the cabin. For more, this is the part that we're so heartwarmed by your comments, Mr. Higginbotham, because literally for more than 5 years, the Sandhills Women's Exchange has sought very proactively to work with the resort collaboratively to work on these flood mitigation solutions. We've written, we've called, we've emailed, we've met, we've appealed, and even offered to fund engineering studies ourselves. We once asked, if you recall, for permission to take soil samples from near the retention ponds to help develop a stormwater runoff solution that we were going to share with you. That request was flatly denied. In every attempt we've made, we've been met with resistance rather than cooperation. We've tried to be good neighbors and work in a spirit of neighborliness and cooperation. But let me be clear. The Sandhills Women's Exchange does not oppose the resort. Quite the opposite. Pinehurst Resort is the second largest employer in our community. It is vital to our economic strength and the success in our area. We recognize, value, and appreciate the tremendous benefits that the resort provides. And we have nothing but a fervent wish for the resort to thrive in all of its endeavors. At the same time, we believe that progress and preservation must coexist. As you consider this application, we respectfully ask that you acknowledge the historic and cultural importance of the Sandhills Women's Exchange Cabin and the very real harm that it faces. We urge you to ensure that the concerns we raise tonight are communicated forward to the Village of Pinehurst Planning Department, as they're the next step in the process where the flood mitigation programs need to be discussed. Let me also state that the Sandhills Women's Exchange stands ready to very positively and very constructively work with the resort in the development and implementation of the comprehensive stormwater management plan. And your comments are, again, I can't say it any more deeply, so heartfelt and so deeply appreciated by it. Do I speak for the cabin?
Yes.
So the Sandhills Women's Exchange does not stand against Pinehurst Resort. We are with you all the way and your future plans. We simply ask that Pinehurst history embodied in the cabin be protected right alongside it. So thank you all very much. Okay.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for the witnesses? Thank you for coming forward and saying what you had to say. Unfortunately, the HPC doesn't deal with stormwater, and so that's not in our purview for this application. But you've been heard by people in this room.
Who do we contact? You don't.
The next step is they have to go through the village with a site plan where our technical review committee will review their everything, stormwater, engineering, all of that. So it gets a thorough review by staff.
Which is not public. Which is not public. And no public input can go in that, correct?
Correct. It is they have to meet our development ordinance standards. If they meet all of those, then they can proceed with their project. But we do have stormwater engineering standards that they have to meet. And I think the resort's already stated that that is something that they're going to work on.
And it's very much appreciated.
I feel that you have to consider the historic value of this property. I'm sorry that we're such a thorn in your side. We did not place the cabin there. It's been there for over 100 years.
We have to swear you in.
Yeah.
Pardon?
We have to swear you in if you're going to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Make a statement.
I swear. I swear to everybody. I saved the cabin. We,
Please state your name for the
okay, my
record.
name is Kath Peterson.
Can you raise your right hand?
CAB, raise your right hand. I will.
Please raise your right hand, and do you swear to affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Can you please tell us your address, identify your interest in the application with the commission?
I'm sorry.
What do you have to say about this application, your interest?
The application,
Your interest in the application, what is your,
I
More.
believe that, first of all, that you would dig up the tennis courts that most of our members use, and that you'll be putting in some more parking spaces, which I understand. I mean, parking is a problem for the entire village. It is not just for the resort. And we also have a problem with our parking. Needless to say, that we only have a little space compared to to what the resort has. And I think historically, you should consider what we hope to continue at the exchange. We are a federation, the Women's Exchanges are a federation, started in the 1900s by a group of women who, at the time of the vote, 1920s, when they were able to vote, prepared many things to become the exchange and the federation. We meet annually as a federation and as an exchange, and I think that you need to maybe understand a little bit of what we are. I certainly can understand what you have done. We've been here over 30 years, and we've watched the resort thrive, and I think it's been incredible what you have done. But we, on the other hand, are just one little cabin in the space of everything, and I don't know what we could do. I mean, we've talked about moving it. We historically cannot move it. Water is a problem. If you saw the pictures of the water that we had and what had to be done in order to achieve what we reopened now, maybe if you came into the cabin and seen it and recognized what we have, it would be helpful, and maybe you'll have a solution. I don't know, but I thank you for your time. Do you have any questions?
Can I ask you to put the site?
Pictures?
Site plan?
Yeah.
I don't have control.
Oh, sorry.
Can we go back, yes. So if you go to the right-hand side, right, this is the Women's Exchange, right here.
And
This is how it is today with the tennis courts. And then this is adding more impervious surfaces. And in July 6th, we were impacted the worst we have ever been impacted by the rains. So everything, there is a season, but every rainy season is what impacts us. This was by far the worst damage. We have spent the whole summer redoing the whole cabin inside. We had to tear up all the floors and rebuild them all. So, and that's without adding new parking spaces. So this is how it is now, and adding more impervious surfaces coming towards us will only increase the flow of the water.
I asked this to be put up for two reasons. Number one, let's be clear. To base things on Chantel is a bit, we can all talk about the flooding that occurred, and I have modern buildings that were flooded out, and we've spent close to $1 million on because of Chantel. So we have to remember that. But I called this up to have everybody look at the way the parking is configured. It has a very specific configuration, and it's designed to be part of the very element that we're trying all to create, which is a buffer for stormwater management. I will point out that as we talk about the staff also approved, without other input, Barrett Road, which some people have called one of the architectural marvels of our area, because it was one of the elements that survived Chantel and basically held all the water of a 500-year storm. And that was something the staff approved without public input. I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but the staff knows how to handle these responsibilities. That is designed with a very specific plan, we hope, we're still working on the engineering, to form a buffer around the very area you see highlighted as the Women's Exchange. And it is very intentional. And that's really all I can say at this particular time.
So a couple things. After they speak, you need to let us know if you're gonna enter that as evidence. But I also wanna state, although we do sympathize, we are here to talk about just the things on the COA application, not stormwater, because this board has nothing to do with that. So we kind of have to move back to just what's on this application. So
Thank you.
if it doesn't have to do with the elevations or the design of the parking, where it's at, trees, we can't really discuss that.
Increasing the square footage of the parking is adding to imperviousness, which does impact.
But that's not part of this board's purview.
It's just the building,
Just the design of the building
okay?
and the location of the parking.
Okay?
Well, maybe you should just consider what we're asking.
We are, and I think the
I really
resort has
appreciate
heard
that,
you,
because we
and
don't-
Kevin has certainly heard you.
We were up against rain. Every time it rains, everybody cancels.
So,
They're at the lowest spot. It's gonna come off the roads. The building has to go up.
Yeah.
if your question's in terms of stormwater, we can't,
Moving the building.
we're in terms of the building. Is your question in terms of the building?
Did you want to enter any of the previous?
Yes, we'll enter all the statements.
Debbie, did you want to talk?
I do. I would love to
Do they
make a
have
comment
standing
on the
on
application.
this application? Are they?
They're talking about stormwater, so no.
Are they evidence for this COA?
No, they don't. No. Because the question is the stormwater.
I'm not going to stop talking stormwater. I'm not going to
I
either.
think we have two more.
Okay,
You want to speak?
sure, come forward, both of you.
My name is Debbie Lalor. I live at 80 Azalea Road, Lalor. And I actually first would like.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear to affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Please tell us your address, identify your interest in the application to the commission, whatever you have to say about this application.
My address is 80 Azalea Road, which is about a block away from the application site, project site.
Okay. What do you?
Well, I have to say, first, actually, two corrections. I just looked it up. Clay tennis courts are actually considered permeable surfaces. I know what clay AI. You've got to contradict AI anyway. But at any rate, I think that's why they dry so quickly, is because whatever, I don't agree to disagree. One thing, and the second thing is, I think that it's difficult for you all to consider this application without recognizing the integration of both the addition and the parking lot. The resort would not need the parking lots were it not expanding the building, neither would the addition exist if it were not able to expand its parking lot. So I think you are entitled actually to the application as a whole, but notwithstanding, I did want to say that the resort did an incredible job when it did the swimming pool complex. It absolutely replicated the architecture and design and the feel of the 1922 clubhouse, the columns, the arches, and everything is beautiful. The color palette is integrated into the whole campus with the clubhouse. And then here comes this opportunity for the tennis house. In addition, it is the first building on the resort premises that visitors see when they come in. I believe it should architecturally and from the color palette replicate the swimming pool complex and the clubhouse itself to make it an integrated whole so that when people come up the road, that's the USGA, but over here is the beautiful resort facilities, the tennis house, the swimming pool complex, and the clubhouse. So that I hope that perhaps when you're considering this application, you will look at what is essentially an extension onto a single story. I don't know when the building was built, 50s, 60s, 70s. Never, but it's pretty modern, and it is architecturally indistinct, nothing special about it. And so you have the ability here to talk with the resort and say, you know, you got an opportunity here. So that's kind of what I had to say on that front. And then you've already talked about that if parking were within your purview, you would consider all the things that everybody else has already raised. But I did just want to bring up that I'm sorry to see a lost opportunity, and I think that this application as it stands is a lost opportunity for the resort to make a statement of this building. Thank you.
All right, please state your name, spell your last name.
I'm Susan Taylor Schran. My last name is TAYLOR-SCHRAN. I live at 1445 Burning Tree Road in the village. I want
Please raise your right hand, and do you swear to affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to the application shall be the whole truth, be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Okay. And identify your interest in the application to.
It's looking at the historic nature of that area of the village. I kind of operate with another member, sort of as historian, archivist, for the Women's Exchange. And in doing that, I've really learned a lot of history of the village. And if you remember, when James Tufts brought that little cabin and erected it in 1896, that area was known as the Pine Grove or the Deer Park. And up until the development of it, all of that area through there were huge longleaf pines. And that, I hope that as many of the trees in that approach up Azalea and from the circle is saved, because it's part of the historic statement of the village. And when Tufts designed it, when Olmsted came in, that was an integral part. And as the cabin, we try to keep our appearance, our outward appearance, in keeping with the historic nature of that area. Just saying, as you tweak your designs and look at it, make sure you remember that the landscaping was also an integral part of the development of Pinehurst. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Okay.
Enter it into the record.
Huh?
If you want to enter it into the record?
Yes. That's fine. Please state your name, spell your last name.
Martha Wicker, W-I-C-K-E-R.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please tell us your address, identify your interest in the application, tell us, the commission, whatever you have to say about this application.
Okay, we live at 260 Everett Road in Old Town East, and I'm also the neighborhood advisory representative to the village council, so we have real interest in this particular development. Much of what has been said, I concur with. I concur with what Debbie Layler said about the way that the new tennis and fitness structure should look. I would prefer for it to look to mirror what we already have there rather than a more contemporary color palette. But the most important thing to me, and I know we're not supposed to talk about the rainwater and stormwater and all of that, but is the...
You can stop if you're going to talk about that.
Well, I'm just going to say that...
Keep your subject to...
Okay. The sand lot in the village is an example of using a permeable surface as a parking lot. And throughout the village, a lot of us have the gravel in our driveways. I would just ask that when you're looking at the parking for this facility, that you look at the historic nature of what is being done in the village and consider a permeable surface. If you can't do something like the gravel, then pavers with holes, something to prevent the runoff of the water, because it's a tremendous disservice to the Women's Exchange as well as to Azalea Road, the village chapel, and the surrounding neighborhood. So I'm going to say that. And the other thing I want to say is, I wonder if when you're looking at the design of this facility, if you could consider using above ground or underground cisterns to take some of the water that runs off the roof and capture it and use it on the facility at the club. And my husband and I also are members of the club, and so we have a real interest in this being a successful build project, but also not damage the Women's Exchange, as well as the surrounding neighborhood.
Sorry.
Enter that in our...
It's not, so just things that are facts that have to do with this application.
Anybody else? Is that it? The record in this case is closed and the commissioners will deliberate. We have any discussion we want on this?
I have a question I should have mentioned before we closed the record. The windows you're using, they're gonna match the existing in terms of the muntins and the detail around the windows, the trim, all of that. The frieze board, all that stuff will be designed to match the existing. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Can we pull up I guess it's the west elevation? Is that when you drive in on the left-hand side, that's what you're gonna see? Look at that. Maybe would be- There may be desire to salvage, the existing structure to reduce costs, but, what, I guess, what thought was put in, there you go. That's the rear of the building.
One more down west. There's west.
Obviously, if you would try to mirror that cupola on top, on the left-hand side, it would have more cost, but it may certainly look better. Not sure where the historic value lies, within trying to match the pool of the rest of the clubhouse. But, as we look at it and we decide, are there any recommendations to make the appearance, improve it? I think initially, my thoughts was, looks good enough, you know what I mean? But now that, it was kind of presented in a different way, certainly maybe worth discussion, I don't know.
You were referring to the color or the actual?
Pardon me?
The color or the overall look?
Yeah, just the ability for it to match with the other buildings within that campus area. I don't have any, great suggestions, I don't pick colors real well or design, but, we bring it up here so we don't look back and say, wish we would have made that decision, or recommendation, today, this evening.
Yeah, I had a thought in the color too, just because Maria had mentioned that the anonymous gray that they had picked wasn't actually an approved palette for the village, right?
So that's a Sherman-Williams color. All the colors on our approved color palette are Benjamin Moore.
Got it.
So I found one from our color palette that was very similar.
Okay.
So
I
as
mean,
long as they're close, they don't have to be the exact color if it's different.
okay, but I guess that I had the same thought too. It's not really. It's a little different than everything else that's right there. So not totally congruous. Although I'm fine with the color personally, but I'm just, I didn't know if it was a big
And what can be done with hardscape, landscape, in the front of it, to make it maybe look more attractive? I don't know if there's any thought or discussion that went in there as you guys designed plans.
Well, there are two large trees that would be, if you're looking at the lower elevation, the double windows with the smaller cupola. So you'd have two
Okay.
large trees that we are leaving there, and some more shrubs that we did not put into that elevation so that you could, I guess,
Sure.
see what the building looks like more so. And within the campus, there's very many different architectural styles, and I know that that's been years and years of buildings being added at different times, and I think within the past 3 to 5 years, I think everybody could agree that you start to see those different buildings as they get renovated start to come together slowly in terms of color, in terms of roof shingles, while trying to maintain somewhat of an identity per building. But it is a slow process to try to take decades and decades of different architectural styles and then try to blend them together where it looks cohesive. The quick, simple way is color style. The roof is one thing that you see the most of. The lower portion, a lot of times for planting and landscaping, doesn't necessarily conceal it, but it does give you a layer of depth to it to where you're not seeing a blank wall like in this elevation. I think somebody mentioned that this is one of the first buildings that you see as you come in. And again, it's layered with separated roads. There's a landscaping buffer from the entrance and exit roads. There's another parking lot before you see this building. And within each of those, trees. So in this case, you're never going to see the building as flat and basic like that. There is going to be layering that will add to it.
Did you say that your application, as far as the siding, should not have been wood? It would be the fiber optic?
Fiber cement, same material as the
Hardy board?
USGA. Right.
So would you amend your application? Are you asking to amend your application for
So
to change it?
I believe our application states,
Can you say clapboard?
I guess the original filing said wood.
it calls for new clapboard siding.
Wood sidings on.
Okay, we can do that in our motion.
condition, right?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that was their intent.
That's correct.
That is our intent.
I mean, what I'm hearing from Paul and Joe is there's concern about the color and the cohesiveness. Is that, I mean,
I don't have a concern. I threw it out there just to see what was the response was gonna be. I didn't get much of it, but I can live with that.
you can live with the color? Or you feel
The-
it should be more cohesive with the clubhouse of the pool?
My mind wasn't thinking like that, no. But I thought it was a good point that was brought up, though.
I'm fine with it.
You fine with the color?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I just kind of wanted another reattack on it to
Okay.
think about it, out loud.
Yeah, there's, in my opinion, there's too many farmhouses going up, brand-new farmhouses, black and white, little color house, soften things.
Okay.
As long as it's improved colors, I think it's fine.
Yep, I agree.
I'm ready to make a motion.
All right, and there was one condition though,
For the door.
the door.
Yep.
So that should be
And
seen.
cement ground.
So are we approving the parking also? Is that part of this?
All parking
All of
applications.
So my issue's more with the parking. I don't see any incorporated landscaping, vegetation, with them taking away so many trees in that area.
I saw a replant, it said 19 pine trees, I believe it said. Well, all these are new.
There are eight new trees in the field of parking, just in the field of parking, there are 8 new trees.
128 shrubs.
And how many are they taking out or removing?
It's on a previous slide. I don't have the slide in front of me.
So I think there were over 12 inches, or 12 inches or greater in diameter at breast height, there were 20. And those are the only ones that you would have purview over.
There's no count in the application.
Yeah, I didn't see one.
But it's just not added up. It takes a while.
I think it's a lot of concrete parking in the middle of the village as far as this parking lot. So I'm in favor of the expansion of tennis, but not necessarily the concrete parking lot.
So you have to just look at the standards. Does it meet the historic district standards? Is there a particular standard that you don't think it applies?
I had that before.
They were in the.
I think it was like matching the village. I mean, we're in the village. Where else, aside from the rest of the resort, is there this much of a concrete parking lot?
So there's no standard on that. For parking, commercial off-street parking areas should not be located in the front yards or rights of way. That's the only standard you have for the parking.
Aside from it having to incorporate vegetation or what have you, landscaping, landscape elements.
So the landscaping does match the UDO standards for parking, interior parking and their interior plantings. And a lot of that is all new around there, and it would be asphalt and not concrete.
And asphalt is what the resort, the rest of the
That's what
resort.
the rest of the resort is, yeah, it would just match that.
Satisfied?
That's good.
No?
I'll make a motion.
Sure.
I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve with conditions a certificate of appropriateness, COA-2025-00105, and find the proposed major work at 4 Carolina Vista is consistent with historic district standard and is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based on the testimony given, materials submitted, and findings of facts, with 2 conditions. Modify the utility closet doors to be more congruous with the building design. And the second, cement board vice wood cloud siding. I'm sympathetic to the flooding, but I think the, a good project there.
Moved by Paul Roberts. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by David Herring. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Congratulations. Your certificate of appropriateness.
Yeah.
And that's
Thank you so much.
Come to the cabin and have lunch.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
All right, we ready? You think? Few?
a second for the other applicants. Joe will need to.
Yeah.
Joe, you're gonna step away?
I'm gonna
Let
recuse
him,
myself.
wait till we formally come back and so he can formally work.
Okay.
Is it just you?
Is that okay? Are you expecting more?
Is that, that's it? All right.
Doesn't already done.
Doing the first.
Ready to present your second case?
Sorry, does Joe need to recuse before?
Yes, Joe needs to take care of that first.
Okay, I will have to recuse myself as I have a conflict of interest with this project. Thank you.
So moved. Guess we're ready.
All right. So the purpose of this public hearing is to consider a request for a major certificate of appropriateness within the Pinehurst Historic District for modifications to approve COA 2025-00026 at 52 McIntyre Road. The property is identified as Moore County Parcel ID number 000-18470. The property owner is Bloom Precision Aesthetics PLLC, and the applicant is Vogel Firm Architecture. So the applicant is proposing to revise the elevations that were approved in our previous HPC meeting by adding some balconies. They're changing some doors to windows and changing window sizes. And this is major work requiring a review because it is eliminating or adding windows and or doors. The public hearing was noticed in accordance with the North Carolina General Statutes and the PDO. The subject property is the hashed out area, and the notified property owners are outlined in red. So here we have the proposed elevations, and then these were the previously approved elevations. So you can see windows are getting bigger, they are adding some balconies and changing some of the windows on the first level. And here are some renderings, same thing. These are the proposed elevations, and this is what was previously approved. So the applicant has submitted an application and provided additional documentation in an attempt to satisfy the burden of proof. The commission needs to determine if the changes are congruous with the historic district and if they meet the historic district standards. And I'd like to enter into the record the staff report with attachments and exhibits, this presentation, the application, and the applicant's materials and exhibits.
Without objection, the materials referred to by staff are admitted into record. Do the commissioners have any questions for staff?
No.
We will now hear from the applicant. Is the applicant or their representatives present? Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to or affirm that the testimony...
Don't you want his name?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We don't know him, sorry. Please state your name and spell your last name for the record. State your relationship with the property. Sorry about that.
Richard Vincent. Vincent is V-I-N-C-E-N-T. Address is 130 Short Road here in the village. Connection to the property is work for the developer, GC, who'll be building this. Pete Bogle, one of the architects, is listed as the applicant, but it's all the same team.
Please raise. Yeah. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to the application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You have been sworn in. If there is anything in the presentation by the staff that you disagree with, or you would like to revise or clarify, or anything that you would like to do to add support of the application, this is your opportunity to do so.
Thank you. Nice to see everyone. I get some new faces I haven't met. So appreciate everyone's time. Really just, there's two changes. All the materials stay the same, everything stays the same. And really it has to do with when we came the first time around, we hadn't fully shored up the plan for upstairs. We thought we had a good plan and it's morphed a little bit. So to really get the most out of the upstairs, there's residential units up there. And the height of the building stayed the same, so nothing's changing on that front. But we do have these really nice tall ceilings upstairs. I think we got 16 feet at one area. So it was a waste not to do a sort of mezzanine walkout loft for like a den or some fun room in there. And then when you do that, when you have all that height upstairs, the windows were disproportionate. So you would have had a nice view on the lounge level, but up there, then you have a huge section of brick from the top of the window all the way to the roof deck. So we think it's a far more attractive design. It gives a nice balance to the building. And then also the addition of balconies. I think it just gives it a little more architectural pop. If you look at the bottom right corner, in the center of the building, that's facing McIntyre Road. So if you want to call it the sort of the front center section, there's two people standing there. That was a horizontal horizontal awning. We actually go and do, which it was approved, and I think it's still appropriate next to sort of the angled awnings next to it. But by removing that and putting a balcony, I think it gives it a far more attractive, more historic look, more cohesion in the whole building. So that's really the two changes, is creating more windows on the second story and then creating a couple of additional balconies for those 6 units upstairs. Everything else has stayed the same on the original application.
Do the commissioners have any questions for?
I have a question. Imagine that.
About the windows?
Well, let's start with the mezzanine.
Mhm.
Does the mezzanine engage the windows the way it suggests it might?
Mhm.
Nowhere, all the way around.
No, that's inside the unit.
Well, the reason I ask is if it should meet the glass, then my question would be, how are you going to treat that glass?
It doesn't meet the glass.
So, all the way around, it's open, floor to high ceiling.
Half the unit upstairs has mezzanine, will have a mezzanine level.
And the mezzanine never reaches the outside of the building.
Nope.
Okay.
You want to see it?
Next is your southern elevation. For the other three elevations, there's a distinct hierarchy of components. If we look, for example, the north elevation is clearly a three-part assembly. And the center part, it reads as a piece that is tall. Almost sits, it looks like it sits out, probably doesn't, but it looks like it sits out from the balance of that facade.
Help me out here, David, which one are we looking at?
Let's look at the north elevation,
If you,
the pure elevation.
okay,
Okay, so if, the way I see that from an architectural standpoint, it's a three-part composition. There's a central piece, it's three window bays wide, reads as if it is taller because the parapet height is taller, flanked by two lower masses, shall we say, which I think is quite nice. Unfortunately, when I get to the south elevation, because of the way the trim goes through that centerpiece, we lose all that definition, which isn't, in my opinion, as good as what you started with.
I'm sure from following.
Okay, let's look at the original, I guess it's the south elevation, original south elevation, which is the top left of the originals. Okay. Can we zoom into that?
Let me see if I can go with the actual exhibits. You want- in here?
That's a new one.
Those are all proposed.
Yep, that's a new version.
Uh,
It'll probably, maybe
He didn't-
easier to go
he
back
didn't-
where you were.
Yeah, he didn't submit,
Yes.
the approved ones were not part of the packet, so.
Right, so I had to go back and dig it out of my basement. Let's start here again. Okay, so let's go to the north elevation. In the north elevation, do you understand this three-part thing I'm describing? And the way that the fascia at the very top, just below the coping, it doesn't cut through that middle third. The middle third still reads like a separate piece that might step out a foot or two, even though I'm quite sure it doesn't, it's probably flat, but it looks like that because of the way the parapet steps up.
Mhm.
If we go to the new south elevation, the parapet steps up, but because all of the detailing and so forth just below that runs straight through, you lose that definition of that third part. So in the middle three window bays on the new south elevation, I think where you started was much better.
I don't have it in front of me, so it's hard for me to reference and understand.
Why don't you come sit next to me, I got it right.
Okay.
Are you all
Are
following?
you talking about the parapet on the rear?
Let me point.
Yes,
Up one.
thank you.
And maybe there was more design put on the front of the building
This is the only piece with regard to this issue that I find a downgrade instead of, so, and you.
That's the original.
You want the?
No, this is yeah, that's the original. So this piece right here looks like it's one piece.
Mhm.
This is behind it, or it looks like it's behind it, it's probably not. This is also behind it, so it's easily these three parts.
Yes.
And this detailing doesn't go all the way through here. Now let's go to the new one. On this one, it runs right straight through. This piece right here, which makes it lose that layered look. I think just where you started was better.
I'm still struggling to see, so it hasn't changed on the rear. That's the south elevation, that's the back of the building, interior to the parking lot.
Right,
Okay?
right. But if you compare this to the south elevation of the original, this is that piece I'm talking about, right here, has changed.
That's the front of the building, that's not the south.
Oh, okay, so
That's the
this,
south. It's a marked upgrade.
okay, I stand corrected.
Okay? Everything we've done is improved this design, like made it
Well, I
more
think you
attractive.
could improve that elevation by changing the detail of the brick at that location.
What we have, if you look at the detail on the rear of the other, that's the south. You see all the additional windows, you see the doors.
Oh, yeah,
see
I'm
the
getting to
awnings.
that, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I'm just talking about just this piece right here, that piece, compared to this piece.
Well, that's actually the parapet you're seeing on the front of the building facing McIntyre. There's no parapet on the rear, there's three
Also,
parapets.
there's no parapet here.
No,
This
no.
parapet is the backside of
It's a
that?
single slope roof, yep.
Ah.
So you're not gonna have like all the internal gutters and scuppers and everything that's gonna come down. It's only ever had parapets on three sides.
Okay, so that parapet's the backside, way across.
Sorry, that's why I couldn't understand what was being, it hasn't, the three parapets have not changed.
All right, I get that. You have added a lot of windows. And you have made the proportion of the window tall and thin. Whereas when you started, and I understand why, you're trying to squeeze in a mezzanine and give them some glass on the mezzanine level, all that makes sense. But the net result is, it's not as comfortable as a two-story one with the more historically similar window proportions. Got any ideas?
Is that oh, that's a question for me?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything I have to criticize
Yeah.
that would prevent me from giving you a COA. But I think there are some things here that are not as good as where you started, even though you've gained some functional benefit of the mezzanine for the apartments on the upper level.
I mean, I still think there's really good scale on the windows. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not for squeezing in a mezzanine, we don't need to increase the windows for that, but I think it gives it more balance. I think the windows previously were too small, and all the old tobacco warehouses, historical buildings we looked in downtown usually had those taller, narrower windows to let light in on those levels.
Well, I think if you
that's
look at the
personal.
photographs in the guidelines of examples of commercial buildings of this type, there's the proportion of brick to glass is much more like where you started than where you ended up. I don't have any solutions, but that's my critique.
Okay.
But I understand why you did it, all that makes sense. I'm glad to hear that you're not gonna struggle with spandrel glass or some weird thing that the mezzanine has.
Yeah.
So, also, I'm not making any comment about what the building code will require with regard to the mezzanine, your allowable square footage, none of that, of course, not fair. I think your balcony railings, I understand your intent. I appreciate the idea of making it look more residential, but they're so small, they look like, pardon my analogy, but curb feelers on a Cadillac. I'm done criticizing.
You're good.
Thank you.
I remember the address from previous life, and there was 2 buildings. No changes to the second building?
No two buildings.
No.
No, is fine.
Okay, originally the proposal was 2 buildings, right?
That was,
Now
that
you go
was
to
a
HBCs.
conditional rezoning, that was.
Oh, okay, okay, so it's just 1 building, that's,
HBC's only ever seen this.
okay, got it. Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. Sorry, new, and didn't see the renderings before, but reading through this, I just want to, and I know that renderings can look different, but I want to verify that I did see red brick, correct? Okay, so this will be red brick.
Yeah, the only changes are the balconies and the windows, so this really is a modification to the previously approved COA as it relates to those 2 items.
But I wouldn't characterize it as red.
What does it?
You purposely changed it to a browner tone, right?
I mean, I think the application, the original application, it said red, but there's a little bit of leeway on there to work with staff. There's 2 different brick tones to make sure we got some nice balance and relief and some red go.
So I don't think we're gonna see a red brick building,
That's what
based on what.
These are a little browner than in reality will come out. It's just the way the renderings came out.
So that's-
But the brick will be more of a red brick that will fit in with the village.
Right.
And there's 2 different tones of red brick. We'll use different color for the plasters and the inlays. And that's what we did the little concrete, help me out, David. What is the little wedge keystone? Little concrete elements to break it up, so you have really not just one monotonous same color brick.
Right.
But it creates the perception of more relief.
Okay. So what we're seeing up on the top left, that looks more red than what I'm looking at here. This is
Yeah,
very, very brown.
this screen's a little HD,
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah.
it's,
Okay,
it'll be an approved red brick handled with stuff.
great,
Yeah.
I would say just brick, approved brick.
Brick.
sorry. Just,
It'll be from the approved brick palette, how about that?
See, we need one.
We have a change in brick palette.
Any more questions?
no, sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
Alex is here telling me to paint the brick. No.
All right. If there is any member of the public who wishes to present any evidence in either support or in opposition to the application, please come forward at this time and identify yourself. Okay. Please state your name and spell your last name.
Martha Wicker, W-I-C-K-E-R.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to affirm that the testimony you shall give to the commission with respect to this application shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
This is actually.
Please, could you please tell us your address and
Yes.
identify your interest in the application? Tell the commission whatever you have to say about that.
Okay, I live at 260 Everett Road. This is actually a statement from Deb Layla that she wanted me to read, so I don't know if that's permissible or not, or if I can just.
No.
Okay.
I'm interested, if you don't, unless it's forbidden, I'd like to hear it.
I think
Here's-
She has to be present.
Yep.
She's already sworn in.
Yeah. It's a shame because she served on the council and has a background in urban planning and has some really good comments, particularly about the brick and other things. So is there any way that her voice can be heard with this?
I'll happily give my cell phone number and she can reach out anytime.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll stick around with you.
You just write it down. Thank you.
Can we consider the record in this case closed? All right. You'd like to deliberate about this?
Ready to make a motion?
All right. Anybody have anything else to say? All right.
I'll find it right. I move that the Historic Preservation Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness and find that the proposed major work at 52 McIntyre Road is consistent with the Historic District standards and is deemed congruous with the Pinehurst Historic District based on the testimony given, the material submitted, and the findings of fact.
Moved by David Herring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Paul Roberts. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you, everyone.
Get your revised COA. Thank you. That concludes the public hearing. May I have a motion to close the public hearing and return to regular commission
meeting?
So moved. Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The motion passes. We are now in a regular meeting. This is a public meeting, and we are now all welcome to stay and observe, but only members of the commission and its staff may speak. You've been provided a copy of the minor work and staff approvals. Is there any other business?
Nope.
That's it.
Will they prepare yourselves for next month because we have 10, so. Unless when we go through them all, any are incomplete or for some reason can't go forward.
Bring snacks.
There's 10 applications in for next month, so bring a snack.
What's the date?
October 23rd.
23rd.
I'm waiting for I'm out of town.
It's mandatory. Everyone has to be here.
Oh, congratulations,
Thank you.
by the way.
Thank you.
Well, I think there's a long road ahead for some people on, more than what we saw today, so. Good luck.
Good, well, yeah, for staff. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Do we have to move?
I move.
Oh, sorry. Well, do we move to adjourn? Goes in favor to adjourn the regular meeting
Second.
at such time. Those in favor? 5:48.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. Sorry. I need to work on my.
Who's that?
Who's seconded the motion?
Who seconded that?
I did.
You.
1823.
We're allowed to